Hi guys, Sean Darling here again. I'm going to show you today how to use smart bones in Moho. Alright, here we are in Moho, and I've just got a little character sketch that I've done. There are no bones in him right now. When you have a limb like this and you want to bend it, and you just want it to bend and look right, but it doesn't, you would use something called smart bones. And what I'm going to do is just create a bone layer here for Mr. Dude, and I'm going to go convert to bone. So now I have this as a bone layer, and I'm just going to add a few bones just to kind of show you how this works. So I have a body torso bone here, and then I'm just gonna, and you can have the separation or not, but I'm just gonna make a bone come down here to the elbow, and then a bone come down here through the hand. Alright, so now that we've got those bones drawn, we have to come in here and we're going to remove their bone power. What I'm going to do first is come down here to the hand layer on hand right, and I'm going to click on bind layer and bind it to this forearm bone. We're not going to be moving the hand around for this demonstration. And then what I want to do is to come in to my arm right layer. I'm going to select this select bone tool. I'm going to select the first bone. Then I'm going to select the bind points button, and I'm just going to come around and circle all the points that I want associated with this particular bone and click bind points. Now this isn't a tutorial on binding points, but you might as well learn because we have to do it anyway. There's going to be another tutorial specifically on that later. But then we come down here now and select our next bone, select the bind points tool again, and select all these remaining points that need to be associated with that bone. Make sure that you surround them all and that they all light up, and then we click bind points. And now everything should be bound together. Now, if we go back to our bone layer and click on it here, Mr. Dude, and we click on our manipulate bones tool, when we move this, we were going to get some movement of the arm, of course. Now the body's going to wiggle around because it's not set as it should be. But you can see when we move this bone right here, we get this really ugly flexing. And this is because the points are doing the best they can, but we need something to correct that particular motion here. So what we need to do is click on our select bones, and we're going to pop back to frame 0 here, and everything will go back to normal. We need to create bone actions for these, smart bone actions. So we're going to go ahead and select this upper bone right here. We're going to rename it right in this little dialog box, and this is going to be arm upper right. And then we're going to select the next bone down and rename it forearm right. Now we need to make an action specifically for this bone so that this crumpling in the elbow doesn't happen. So with that bone selected and being on frame 0 and also being on your bone layer, we're going to go up to the actions tab here, and if that's not open, just go to your window and find actions and select it. We're going to go to the actions tab, and this little icon right here is going to create a new action. So we're going to want to click on that. You can tell you've done this right because the name of the bone you're wanting to apply it to comes up in the action name. Right here we have forearm right, so we know that it's correct. Just go ahead and say OK. Now at the bottom, your regular timeline is going to go away and turn into this blue timeline. The blue timeline is just for this particular bone's action. You can pick an arbitrary amount of frames to make your correction over. It's up to you. 48 is a good enough amount for something like this, and you learn what works best for what as you go on. And once we are clicked on frame 48 here by moving the playhead over, we're going to come over and select the transform bone tool, and then come back over here and right in the middle of this bone, not at the end because that moves it, and this here scales it. Right in the middle we get this icon for rotation. So we're going to rotate that bone up. We're going to rotate it as far as we'd want this to go given the particular action we want this bone to be doing. So when this bone is bent as far as it can go, this is what it's going to look like at its extreme. So now with that, we need to go to the layer that needs to be fixed, and this will be the arm layer or any other layer that's affected because of this movement. And we're going to come down to arm, right, and click on that layer, and now we'll see our points. And what we'll want to do is not to disturb the arm so much, but to fix this area right here. And it's a lot easier than it looks. Right now there's some points selected. I'm going to click just once in a blank spot on the canvas, and it will deselect any points that are selected. And what I'm going to do is start grabbing points and moving them into a better position. Now given this is a one-piece arm, I'm going to have to move these in such a way that it appears that the arm stays as one solid piece and the crease or the arm is folded looks like a natural amount. You'll see what I mean once I move these. Right now they're looped over each other, so just be careful how you move them. You don't want to disturb this part of the arm too much here. And I'm just going to start pulling these around and over each other until I can see just where they need to be. And we're going to check by moving this playhead back and forth now, and you can see what's going to happen when that arm bends. So that's as close as we're going to get it right now. You get the idea. Once that action is corrected between the elbow and the bend of the elbow, you just go back here to the main line, which takes us back to our main timeline. You just double click it and you're back in frame 0. And now if you grab from the bone layer Mr. Dude, and I grab my manipulate bones tool, I can move this bone up, and if he cooperates, he will be able to move that without any of those deformations that we had before. Now we can move it the other way, and we'd have to create another action for bending it the other way as well. But I think you guys now get the idea. Alright, that's it. Thank you for watching.
We're gonna learn animation in Moho.